When you consider just how incredibly compelling the Tesla Semi is, and you look at the worldwide available market and all the reasons for why Tesla should take a massive percentage of that, you start to realize Tesla could in fact get an additional $100 billion in revenue from the Tesla Semi alone. Now that figure sounds ridiculous. It sounds astronomical. You're probably thinking, oh, that's not even possible. That just sounds stupid. But look at the facts, look at the specs, look at the numbers, look at the laws that are about to change. And actually, it's completely plausible. It's not far-fetched. It's not within, and it's most certainly within the realms of possibility. Right now, everyone is focusing, I think, on maybe the wrong thing. The Tesla Semi will actually crush most of the competition. It's actually not even a question. It's compelling. The data is, while it's logical, it makes sense. And as a result of changes that no one seems to have noticed, the US government has accidentally given Tesla an enormous advantage. In fact, it's given them the opportunity to completely dominate the Class 8 truck market in the United States. The data is compelling. If you combine the laws that have just changed with the size of the market that Tesla is going after and the specs of their vehicle being so much better than everyone else, well, it won't be long before Tesla has cornered yet another market in the US. But what will it do after that? Will it go after the same market in Europe? I'm betting they will. In fact, I'm betting Tesla will own this market in the two biggest markets for semis worldwide. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm the Electric Viking. Great to see you. Welcome to all the new subscribers and welcome back everyone else. Something that people have just ignored or not even realized happened was this. On the 20th of December 2022, the EPA finalized tough new emissions rules to cut smog from heavy-duty trucks. The new standards, the first update to clean air standards for heavy trucks in more than 2 decades, are 80% more stringent than current standards. 80% more. You can imagine what this is going to do to the current Class 8 trucking industry. The US Environmental Protection Agency announced it finalized new emission standards to drastically cut smog and soot-forming emissions from heavy-duty trucks, which cause cancer, the first of a series of actions planned to cut vehicle pollution. The new standards, the first update, will change this industry drastically. 80% more stringent. It's really important, especially for protecting the health of the 72 million people living near truck freight routes in America. EPA Administrator Michael Regan told Reuters in an interview, adding the rule will result in up to 48% reduction in smog-forming nitrogen oxide NOx emissions by 2045. He said, this is a very aggressive approach to reducing NOx emissions, which, yeah, like I said, they kill people. There's a pretty damn good reason the EPA just changed the rules. Separately, the EPA plans to propose by March the so-called Phase 3 greenhouse gas standards for heavy-duty vehicles beginning and new emissions standards light and medium-duty vehicles. Both of those rules, when finalized, will take effect in the 2027 model year. However, in December 2021, the EPA finalized new passenger vehicle emissions requirements, and they said on Tuesday they expect to make decisions on waiver requests by the state of California to set its own heavy truck emissions rules. Basically, the state of California is saying, this is not enough. We want our own rules. We want to basically ban the sale of diesel-powered Class 8 trucks within a couple of years. The EPA opted not to finalize the heavy-duty truck GHG emissions rules in 2022 after Congress passed new incentives to speed the adoption of zero-emission vehicles in this segment. The EPA believes much greater zero-emission heavy-duty vehicle adoption rates are possible given the climate law's $40,000 qualified commercial clean vehicle tax credit. So what does this mean? It means two things. One, if you're a company and you buy a Class 8 Semi, which is electric, you get a $40,000 discount. For you guys in Australia, that's about $60,000 discount on the vehicle. Not only is it much cheaper to run, you get a huge discount on the purchase price. That's a pretty good incentive to go electric, right? It also means if you want to keep on buying a diesel powered Class 8 semi, Class 8 truck, well, the price will go up now. Why? Because now you'll be penalized for driving it. Smog rules are changing, emissions rules are changing. It now will cost more to buy one of these vehicles because the emission standards have changed, and it will cost more to actually operate one. So the disruption will be massive. How big is this segment? Every year, approximately 250,000 Class 8 trucks are sold. The average sales price is getting close up there to $200,000 US. That's a $50 billion US industry. $50 billion per year. But if you think about it, it's not that many vehicles, only 250,000. So it's not that difficult when you think about it for Tesla to disrupt this market. Why is it that difficult? Well, here's the thing. People don't buy a Class 8 truck to have fun, for stylish reasons, for the reasons to impress their friends. They buy one purely for economic reasons. Now, if it's much cheaper to own and operate, and it's much cheaper to buy because you're getting a $40,000 discount, it's a no-brainer. And the thing is, if your competition has even a 5% benefit on owning, on operating the cost, in other words, if their costs are 5% lower than yours, they can put you out of business pretty damn quickly. That's how tight the industry is. Next Big Future has put together a chart showing that the Tesla Semi bests the competition in countless categories. And it's the key reason why Mercedes-Benz said the Tesla Semi was a vehicle that defied the laws of physics. Literally, that's a direct quote from Mercedes. It defies the laws of physics. In other words, they were saying it's fake. The numbers aren't real. The reason they said that is because their numbers suck in comparison. Were they right? No, of course not. Now, were they right in terms of can the Tesla Semi do 500 miles with a big load? No, of course it can't. But can it do 400 miles with a load? Yeah. Can it do 250 with a big load? It can. Is that a lot more than Mercedes' version? It's a hell of a lot more. The analysis done by Next Big Thing considers 9 factors when comparing the Tesla Semi to its competition, including the Nikola Tre, which is not even made by Nikola. They basically assemble it in America, but it's made by a company in Europe. The Peterbilt 579 EV, the Volvo VRNE, and others. The 9 factors include price, range, payload, federal discount, state discounts, efficiency, power, max, GCW, gross combination weight, and charging time. Charging time matters enormously because you want the vehicle on the road as much as humanly possible. So if it takes an hour to charge and another vehicle takes 4 hours to charge, you get a huge advantage every single day. When it comes to range, Tesla is so far ahead of everyone else, it is ridiculous. Now, unfortunately for the competition, their prices also are much higher than Tesla's. In fact, in many cases, they're charging double the price for vehicles that have half the range. Just let that sink in. Double the price for a vehicle that has half the range. How is that going to work for them? I don't understand. Honestly, it doesn't make sense. So, let's say you bought the Tesla Semi with the 500 miles of range for an estimated price of $180,000 to $200,000 US. Now, of course, you got to account for the $40,000 discount versus the gasoline-powered competition. But for this chart, we're just comparing against the electric competition. Now, if you look at the other brands, the maximum quoted range comes from Nikola, with the Nikola Tre having 330 miles of range. It's a lot more than anyone else in terms of Tesla's competition, but it costs $300,000, meaning it's an extra $100,000 for a vehicle from a company with a dubious past, and it has 170 miles less claimed range. Now, I'm going to guess Nikola's claims of range probably not going to be conservative. What does that mean? Well, I think it's fair to say there will be at least a 170 mile range difference between the two vehicles. Plus, the Nikola costs $100,000 US more. Now that's the best case scenario out of all these comparisons in the chart. If you look at the Freightliner e-Cascadia, the range is 155 miles and it costs between $300,000 to $500,000 US. Crazy. But the thing is, the Semi is, unfortunately for the competition, better in every single area. What about power? You probably think power doesn't matter. I'm telling you, it matters. I just drove 2,500 kilometers, so about 1,500 miles on freeways with slight inclines on them. Guess how fast most semis were doing up those inclines? Probably 40 miles an hour, maybe 50 at best. Why are they doing that speed? Because that's all they can do. Would they go faster if they could? Of course they would. Why would you lose enormous amounts of time doing that kind of speed when you don't have to? So yes, power is important. Tesla Semi has 1,020 horsepower. All of the competition have between 180 horsepower and a maximum possible horsepower of 645. And that's coming from Nikola with the Tray. I mean, they've made some interesting claims. We have no way of knowing if they're now telling the truth when they haven't in the past. Anyway, let's just say, take them for their word, say that they are. The Tray has 400 less horsepower, costs $100,000 more. What about Kenworth? Their vehicle has 536 horsepower. What about Lion? Well, they actually have a good amount of horsepower. They have 670. So that's actually the closest to the Semi, but their vehicle costs $500,000 and has a range of only 221 miles. Probably not that practical if you're comparing it to the Semi. The same goes for charging speeds. The Tesla Semi charges much faster than almost all the competition. For example, the Freightliner e-Cascadia takes 4 hours. That's its minimum theoretical best speed. BYD, they have an electric truck that takes 2 to 4 hours, but that one only has 175 miles of range and it costs $300,000. Now, the fastest charging electric trucks you can buy when it comes to Semi Class 8 trucks are the Volvo VNRE, and they'll charge in around 90 minutes, meaning between 30 to 60 minutes longer. That's a pretty big difference if you calculate that over the course of 365 days of use per year, which I'm guessing most of these trucks are going to be used every day. When you really have a look at this overall chart, you can see that, frankly, the Tesla Semi, you can see why Mercedes was so skeptical. You can see why they were trying to claim that Tesla were lying, why they were saying that it defies laws of physics. It's simply much better than all the competition in every single area. And what does that mean? It means it's going to disrupt the industry because Tesla has the ability to make a lot of these vehicles. Now, do they have the ability to make a lot of them today? No, they don't. But do they plan on making hundreds of thousands? Well, yes, they do. And when you look at the competition as a business choice, which is what these vehicles are, there's only one obvious choice. There's no way known you would buy a vehicle from anyone else unless you absolutely had to. I mean, unless Tesla said, sorry, we can't provide you with one for 5 years or something like that. The Semi not only travels further than on a charge, but it'll do so while also charging multiple times faster than the closest competition, all while being powerful enough to complete a normal Semi load, allowing for the best possible business case for both independent truckers and organizations. Now, many people correctly point out that it would be a hard sell for many drivers because the charging infrastructure is lacking, and that's true. But I'm pretty sure, considering Tesla's history of rolling out superchargers at an incredible speed all around the world, that will change within a couple of years. Probably by the time Tesla are mass manufacturing these in 2024, there will be plenty of chargers around the United States. Plus, companies can install their own at their own facilities in order to maximize the ability and the use of these vehicles. For those who travel a consistent route with access to charging, which they can obviously create themselves, the Semi would be perfect. And I reckon that would cover at least 70% of the current industry. Now, the other big issue here is that even with the Tesla Semi cutting the price of the competition almost in half in many cases, is still a lot more expensive than their diesel offerings, which can be had from $130,000 to $160,000 US. And that's what the naysayers are saying, and that's why they're saying that electric Semi trucks won't work, why no one's going to buy them, because they're too expensive. right? Is that true though? Well, the upfront cost is significantly lower when you consider there's the 40,000 US dollar discount. In fact, it means the Semi is cheaper in many cases than diesel Class 8 trucks. So there isn't any truth to that at all. The other thing worth considering is you're going to save a lot of money on fuel, also on repairs, and if you look at how long battery packs are now lasting in a lot of Tesla cars, you can see that you're more than likely going to get about 1 million kilometers before potentially needing to replace the pack. That's a lot more range than any diesel vehicle will give you before you need to change the engine. Other automakers have no choice. They have no choice other than to either electrify as quickly as they possibly can and to increase the specifications of their vehicles drastically. And at the same time, they need to reduce the price of their vehicles massively. Is it possible for them to do those things? I don't think it is. I think if it was, they'd already be doing it. The reason Tesla spent so much money, so much time on these vehicles was to provide them with this kind of range and with this power, with this ability at this price. Tesla had to work out a way to manufacture these things so that they can make a profit while selling them cheaper than all of the competition. That's exactly what they're doing. Now, the thing is, it may not be too bad for a company like Volvo. They can say, well, Tesla has a backlog now of 5 years. Everyone's ordering Teslas. We can give you one now. That will probably work for them. What's it going to be like for companies who don't sell many electric trucks or none at all? Well, they'll lose market share within a matter of weeks, if not months at best. The thing is, Tesla is about to take an enormous share of a $50 billion market. But that's just the United States. When we start to add in other countries, Mexico, Canada, Central and South America, Europe, China, well, you can see this market is actually enormous. And when we start to think about it, maybe Tesla's direct competition in terms of their share price, in terms of the company overall, really isn't GM or Ford. It's worth considering that when you invest. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.